Man, thanks for staying with us. Yes, it's still the conversation, and we have our second conversation here, which is unemployment and underemployment challenges in Lagos. Seated here with us is Jeff Adebowale, policy development strategist. When I saw this topic, I was like, okay, is there a difference? Yes. Anyway, I have I have Jeff here to answer this question. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you? It's been a while.
Yes.
Seeing you seated here.
Okay. The last time I was on Zoom, so I was in Abuja. So I mean, it's good to be back in the studio.
It's good
and
to
see the lovely faces behind the camera.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Lagos is seen as a land of opportunity. You know, so when anybody is having or when they are dreaming, oh, I'm coming to Lagos. Once I land in Lagos, I will get this train. Yeah. And when they get there, it is another story entirely. Why is it like that?
It used to be what it is, where everybody wanted to be Lagos because, yes, Lagos still gives the opportunity, but I mean, the margin is very slim because the population is now much more than the opportunities that exist. Yeah.
So let's clarify. Underemployment, unemployment.
Yes.
What is the difference?
Okay. Unemployment is basically lack of the jobs, you know, matching jobs to people. You have a population of, say, 1 million. You have employable population of, say, 500,000 of that 1 million. But then you then have just maybe 100,000 jobs or 200,000 jobs. Now that is unemployment because you have people who are ready to work, who have the right skills, who have every qualification to work, but there is no job for them to engage. That's unemployment. However, underemployment is when you have people do jobs that they are overqualified for. A typical example, I have a friend, a brother, who returned back from SA, from South Africa. He moved into Abuja. And for the last 3 months, he's been doing Uber. But guess his qualification? He's a PhD holder.
That is really
underemployment. So he came back into the country and he's not been able to get the right kind of job. He's not been able to get, I mean, any significant job that is meaningful. So he decided, I'm not going to keep my family. In fact, his wife is defending our thesis for a PhD as well. I mean, that is how qualified both of them are. But he's behind the wheels. And so I met him in one of my journeys to Abuja, and we've become friends and brothers. And I'm hoping, by God's grace, that I will absorb him into my company. Because, I mean, at that level, PhD, driving Uber.
So how bad is it? Because today we see a lot of this in Lagos, and this seems to override even the unemployment situation we have in the country.
Productivity is a problem in Nigeria, and of course in Lagos. And you know, if anything works well in Lagos, literally Nigeria is fixed. So if there's anything wrong with Lagos, so to say, it reflects all over the country. So if you talk about unemployment, just about 3%, again, this is based on statistics. However, underemployment pushes the number to between 13 to 15%. And the reality is that Lagos is busy, but Lagos is not productive.
Lagos is busy,
yes,
but it is not productive. So right now, we're saying Lagos is creating jobs, but you know, it's not creating jobs, but just creating the hustling.
Activities, yes. People are hustling. Everybody, I mean, you find graduates, like I said, who are doing, you know, driving and all of that. You will find graduates, and you maybe not super graduate like that, as you know, but you will find people who are qualified to do jobs, but they are on the street hawking drinks, water, and stuff like that. You will find graduate. I know a few graduate friends that we went to school, maybe in Computer Village, and not because it's a bad business to be in the gadget business, but I mean, it's not their certificate they are using. They're in the, you know, trade market. The informal sector, you will find a lot of graduates who are also in the informal sector. It's not bad. The question is, what pushes you into a sector? I mean, I study statistics, and I'm using it because I do consulting, I do a lot of data analysis and all of that. But I know, and I'll say this, and I'm sure, and I hope the person is watching me. I know someone who studied chemistry in the university,
Okay.
but she's a tailor. Fantastic one at that.
But does she enjoy what she's
That's the
doing
thing.
now?
So that's why I said that. What pushes you into what you're doing? So you will find many people, like I said, my brother who is in Abuja, you find many people who are qualified to do certain jobs, but they're pushed to do certain jobs, not because that's what they want to do. That's where you find the underemployment. So for those who want to go into trade, in the informal sector, or do business and SMEs and all of that, it's not bad. It's what pushes you to do it. Are you doing it because you're just submitting to, you know, what the economy, what nature pushes to you, and then you say, okay, I just need to survive. That is what you find majorly in Lagos and of course across the country.
Okay, is the challenge now truly lack of jobs, or a mismatch of skills and opportunities?
We have some lack of jobs. I mean, we don't have enough jobs. However, the jobs that exist, like I said, it's a problem of productivity. We focus so much on certificate that we lose the value of jobs. They say you must have this certificate, you must have that certificate, and then you will find people chase certificate but without experience. And just like before we came on air, I can see some young ladies behind the camera, right? And they're doing, I mean, they're on their IT. I did mechanical engineering, OND in Last Protect, so I know the value of doing IT. So it's the experience, the value of hands-on that many people don't get to have because they're chasing certificates. So when it's time to get on the job, they lack the basic skills.
Okay.
And these are some of the reasons why you will find out that people have even masters, but when they get into jobs, maybe at the banks and all of that, they become overqualified for the job. So they sort of remove their high-end qualification, masters and PhD, they take them out, and they focus just only on their BScs, just because the job is not engaging enough to pay their value, so they just take any job. So that's where you find out that there are many more underemployment, sort of engagement going on, rather than matching the right person to the right job based on this. So, and then you also find that most of the big businesses tend to do more of contracting. Why? Because they will rather push down on the cost of operation and sustainability of the business by engaging on a contract basis rather than a full-time basis. So if you talk about the banks, the telecoms and all of that, 90% of the jobs, even in the media, 90% of the jobs you will find are on contract.
Okay, so we also have situations where certificates do not even match the reality, the courses or the jobs that are applicable now. A lot of foreign organizations don't care whether you have a BSc or a BA. They just want to know if you have the right skills to do the job. Why are we not looking towards that, especially here in Nigeria, that we're still chasing certificates?
Thank you very much for this question, because it was one of the things that I was thinking about. That I remember in 2005, I joined the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, of course at a very young age, but I had put myself pretty much into the HR industry. With the grace of God, great people that I'd like to mention some of them, Felicia Phillips of Phillips Consulting, and all the people, Wanola Adetayo, Kaide Adeuja, and the group, they sort of engaged me pretty much more, and they gave me such platform to review President Obasanjo's blueprint in 2025, the needs document, and my focus was on education.
Okay.
And so in reviewing that document, at that time, I discovered, and I said in, I think 2026 afterwards, or thereabout around the same year, 2026, because the review was later in the year, and Nigerian Economic Survey Group presentation was around December or so in Abuja. In 2026, I was opportune to speak around education, and I said education in Nigeria at that time was dead. What we had was a crippled academics, which right now, in my own view, even that academics is as good as dead. Because if you go to the four walls of schools, and you engage even our students and some of our kids who are here in the studio, and you ask them, I mean, what is the value of what they are learning in school vis-a-vis what they are gaining while they're on the job coming for this IT, you will see huge gap, the disparities. And then call HR people that you know. They will tell you Nigerian graduates are unemployable. And there's a report, I think it was sponsored by Dangote in 2026 or there, around that period, that Nigerian undergraduates, Nigerian graduates are unemployable. Because when you look at jobs, I mean, I was at an interview, you asked an accountant, supposed an accountant or a student who studied accounting, who said, what is cost accounting? Can anybody ever guess what the guy said? Cost accounting is the accounting of cost.
No.
I mean, let's breathe on that. I mean, that's a graduate. So you will find out that when you sit down with HR people and business owners and you bring them, I mean, there's the conversation of the so-called Gen Zs also, and of course, the generational shift and all of that. But it is difficult to find the right people for the jobs. You know, I mean, it's the job mismatch is huge. And so if you want to fault that bit, you will fault it from the place of education. That's why I went back to that foundation. We're not teaching the right skills. I remember, I think it was Governor Ambode that had a program for undergraduate when they're in their final year, where we went to almost all the universities in the tertiary institutions in Lagos. And we were teaching on employability. And getting them ready. Ready, set, work was what it was called.
Ready, set, work.
Yes. You know, I was part of the facilitators. And there were many, you know, professionals who dedicated themselves to training our young people, getting them ready for the job market. And I think this is one of the, I mean, I was going to, and I'm going to say it, and I hope that His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is watching. We need, and I'm ready to work with him on this, we need to do 3 things in Lagos before he leaves.
Okay.
And this could be another legacy project for him. Let us set up a sort of a program to empower the young people in Lagos State. Teaching employability, teaching technical skills, skills that will allow people to engage.
But there are various programs in Lagos states that, attends to what you've
things
just
like
mentioned.
this. But yes, but you see, the thing about it is that in doing it, and if you want to do it right, and that's why I said I'm calling on him, because what we need to do it right is to then focus on the local government. We have 20 local government and 37 LCDAs. That's 57. But I don't see such sort of youth hubs in every local government where we can train skills and we can engage these young people. And it's not just about education. I mean, there's the employability for those who are graduates, but there are skills that must be taught to these young people at the local level. I mean, we must put it down at the local government level, because it's at the local government that you can break it down to the ward and the CDAs, because that's where you would see the raw data of people who are just looking around the corners, and then they can be unpicked from there. They're not far away from their local government, so it's not difficult for them to go there and engage them at that level. And we can talk about what we need to do at the university level. I understand that. But for us to be able to take away the minds of people, even if you, I mean, our young people used to run away from doing bricklaying and tiling and plumbing and electrician. Now they just do bike riding. Even the bike riding now, you have more northerners who are riding bikes. What do we have our young people doing? Doing colo every day, hanging around the corners and saying they are doing cultism.
Because I was going to, my next question was going to be, are young people, willing, are they willing to learn the skills you are talking about? What has been the rate of acceptance by the youths, to go for this training on their own?
Yeah. So again, that's why I said that we need to localize it at the local government level. That is where it will become easier for us to engage these people. And if you then see a typical example, that person becomes the role model to others. You don't necessarily need all the 100 youths in that particular community. You need 1, 2, 3, 4 to better their life, and then when they engage work, and they are productive, and the measure of work is commensurate to their earnings, because again, that's, you know, part, because again, cost of living, the transportation, lack of power, this, that. But if you fix a lot of those infrastructural issues, and then if somebody is told to come and learn tiling or plumbing or electrician, and the person does learn and get jobs, and the person is traveling and coming back, and everybody is seeing that this man is looking, I mean, this guy is looking better than us.
Yeah.
They will say they want to go and learn to. But if you have people who are engaged with work, but they're not seeing the value of the work, I mean, you find more people saying, you know, I don't want to go and stress myself to do that thing because what's it giving you? They will rather want to sit back and waiting for, in quotes, as we always say, one maga to pay. Or just look around the street and beg for money and harass people because they don't even see the dignity in labor of those who are actually truly engaging. And that is where we need to sort of strike the balance across board. It is that encouragement that when people see other people doing better, that they will then say, I think I need a better life for myself.
Okay, should we now begin to focus now on entrepreneurship than job creation? Because I have nephews and nieces abroad who, even after their A-levels, they said, no more school for me. And they went for entrepreneurship, and they're doing very well in places like, I don't want to make adverts, but it's like Price Cooper, Waterhouse, you know, and it is working for them. Will it work in Nigeria if we have such structures?
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why I said that I'm ready to work with the governor and the state and whatever structure, because we need to do things differently with implementation. And let's backtrack a little bit. I'd like to take an example of, I mean, one of the tribes that we know that exists in Nigeria, the Igbos, and of course they're also sort of the Jewish people, you know, we talk about that, you know, as they have the Jewish, you know, bloodline. If you take a typical Jewish man, what it doesn't leave money for his children. It trains them at a very early age to make money by themselves.
And they're very rich.
And they're very rich. That's why they sustain wealth over generations. And so what do we need to do? And that's why we need to change the implementation of all of these things. And we need to take it a little bit further down in, of course, our educational curriculum. Like I said, in education, we need a lot, you know, of work. But then we also need to train and teach our parents, of course, during, you know, Parent Teachers Association meetings and all of that, to encourage entrepreneurship mindset. In entrepreneurship mindset does not mean they have to buy and sell.
Or your child is a dropout.
Your child will not even be a dropout from school if you start with the child at the early age, preparing that child to understand that my provision, even if it's not adequate, I work hard to get it. And so you must also learn to start to earn something. And so that, I mean, for the Jewish people, say from age 12, 13, that child now becomes a son or a daughter, and then at that point is when they are sort of held into proper engagement of what is going on in the business world, how to make money, how to trade, how to do this. So my father was a cooling system expert. AC, fridge, cold room. And that's what sent me to school. And trust me, if you have me to service an AC today, I will do it.
I was going to say, why didn't you follow that line?
Well, you see, that's the thing. When I studied mechanical engineering in Laspotech, my project was, even before dispenser became a thing in Nigeria, my project was a dispenser. I didn't even know a dispenser existed. I had the vision of doing it. I mean, I could do a cooling pipe, you know, galvanized sheet, and then I could put water in it, and it gets cool, and then there's going to be a tap. And then my lecturer said, oh, this is really smart. I mean, there's already something called dispenser. And I'm like, I never knew about it. I just know cooling system. But in, of course, knowing that if by any reason I need to move away from consulting, politics, or any other thing,
you have something
I can do that. I mean, you know, so I don't lose the skill. I mean, even if I'm not doing it actively, I want to call somebody to come and fix my AC. I'll call them and say, hey, this is what I think is wrong with my AC. How did you know? That's what sent me to school. So you can't come and start telling me to come and pay but I'm not supposed to pay because I know what it is. When I finished OND, I went into a mechanic workshop because I studied mechanical engineering, and for almost 6 months I was fixing cars. So if I'm driving my car, I can almost tell. I mean, my car won't get bad on me suddenly, but I know what is wrong with the car, and even if I'm not the one fixing it, I know what to do in the car. So we must begin to develop skills in those kids from very early age. And then as they move on. So when you talk about, okay, entrepreneurship and all of that, we don't even have it in the culture, in our curriculum, in, you know, around the community, that we encourage those things. So most of our kids grow up being very entitled because they just feel it's your responsibility to do. My daughter sent me a list of things she's taking to university. And then I said, okay, because in my mind, I was like, before you, I mean, I started more or less fending for myself, not because my father or my mother couldn't meet me at age 13 or so. Not because my parents couldn't afford it, but I just took the responsibility. I said, now you are going to school, you're even going to private school, you're sending me leave. So I told myself that when I finish, I'm going to ask her, how much of this have you saved?
But did you take her along? Did you carry along that line you just
maybe not as adequate
about?
Yes, maybe not as adequate as I would have loved to, because she went to school. The secondary school was largely boarding school in Ibadan. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's painful for me. Again, when I say my daughter, she's my late elder brother's daughter, so she's mine now. So now I'm taking absolute responsibility on her to educate her and get her to understand. And so for me, that's something that we must get to understand, that you don't wait for these kids to get into the university before they understand, or when they graduate. You can be in the university, and for the young ones who are behind here, and check within your hostels, what is the need, and solve the problem of your mate. I mean, even if you just buying pure water from the truck, and then you're retailing to your neighbors and people within you will make some money. It may not be a lot, but you start that engagement in at least being able to generate your own revenue. And the moment you have the capacity to gift yourself exactly what you want, you're already breaking loose from the hold of the rat race of jobs and the conundrum of education and job and everything that is attached to it. And then you can actually work towards prosperity.
Thank you very much, Jeff Adebowale, Policy Development Strategist. We've been dissecting unemployment and underemployment challenges in Lagos/Nigeria as a whole. We'll be right back after this short break.